Hello and welcome to Talk Around Town. I'm Stephen Chatwin. In the studio with me today is Corey Beavers. Corey is a management analyst for Public Works whose focus is exclusively on solid waste and recycling. Welcome, Corey.
Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about your background. How did you come to the City of Fairfield? How long have you been working for us? And why Public Works? Why this focus on solid waste and recycling?
Yeah, absolutely. So I got my role started with the City of Fairfield around 10 years ago. So I went to school at UC Davis, and during my summer breaks and winter breaks, I interned at the City of Fairfield operations.
Okay.
So during operations, I did a little bit of everything. So I was in our landscape division. I was helping clean up City Hall. I was in our traffic sign shop, fixing traffic signals and installing traffic signs. So kind of in those roles, I really kind of started having a love for local city government and kind of the role of what I could do to kind of make a positive change for my community. So after I got done with UC Davis, I worked a couple jobs in the private sector, but really I kind of realized that my heart and soul was really in kind of local government. So the City of Fairfield had a position that opened up as a transportation technician. So I worked in our Fairfield Transportation Center over off of Cat and Nassau. For about 2 years, kind of in that job, I did a little bit of everything, again, from setting speed limits to, again, kind of working with the public and just kind of informing them on the ways for traffic safety and engineering. So after I did that, a position opened up for a management analyst position with solid waste. Recycling and sustainability has always kind of been a focus and an interest of mine, and I figured, you know what, let's give this a go, sort of thing. So I've been in this position now for about 2 years or so. So we've been trying to grow our recycling and solid waste program since then, and really excited and appreciate being here.
We love seeing the progress that we're making in those areas as well, thanks to you.
Thank you.
Now, this is really in your blood. Your father worked for the City of Fairfield for some time, I understand. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so my dad worked for the City of Fairfield for the majority of his career. He was in our community development department, so I have memories of kind of being in City Hall from a little boy and just kind of running up and down the staircase. So it's kind of in my blood, almost to say, and I'm really kind of glad to follow in my father's footsteps, but also kind of carve a path of my own in Public Works.
Terrific. Now, everyone knows, or at least most people know, about bottle and paper recycling. Tell us about solid waste recycling and how that's different.
Yeah, so solid waste is a pretty wide-encompassing term, but it can probably be thought of as garbage. When you kind of think of garbage at the end of the day, there's a lot that goes into it. But solid waste is, that big umbrella term, and that includes everything from garbage, recycling, yard waste, construction and demolition waste, household hazardous waste, pretty much the entire spectrum. So recycling more so is kind of the actual process of taking a resource that has already been used and reforming it and turning it back into kind of a useful product. So solid waste is kind of the program that I oversee with the City of Fairfield. And again, solid waste kind of entails that kind of the collection process of actually having the truck coming up and picking it up, the processing of taking that material from the truck to a plant, and then the actual disposal, and how do we properly dispose of this material in a sustainable and environmental friendly way.
Okay. This is a huge, tremendous effort, obviously. Certainly a tremendous effort for just one individual here to kind of run with that. Do we partner up with other organizations? Tell us a little bit about those partnerships, how they work, and why they're important to
Yeah,
us.
absolutely. Our solid waste program would not work without our community partnerships. Of course, we have Republic Services. Republic Services and the City of Fairfield have been partnering up since I think about the late 1940s is when we started our initial franchise agreement with Republic. Republic Services, again, does everything from the actual curbside collection where they go to your individual residence or business and pick up garbage and recycling. But Republic Services is also a huge community partner where they help us with our special events, where our parades and some of our other community cleanup events like the Clean Up the Town that we had a few months back. Mm-hmm. So, Republic Services is a huge community partner. We have other community partners like Fairfield Sassoon Sewer District. They help support our household hazardous waste program. So household hazardous waste includes things like chemical cleaners and automotive and some of these more difficult to dispose of items. So the Fairfield Sassoon Sewer District provides us funding to help kind of fund those programs to make sure that our waterways aren't polluted. And again, kind of back to the whole environmental focus that we really are trying to achieve here.
Yeah.
And then, also we just have our internal community partners. I rely so much on our code enforcement team to help actually kind of help us with the actual enforcement and making sure that residents and businesses are subscribing and doing the right thing and making sure that this waste is disposed of.
Okay. So we've come a long ways. Obviously, years and years ago, you'd throw it in the garbage can. It was taken out to the landfill, buried or dumped or burned or whatever. And obviously, we can't and don't do that any longer. The recycling programs that the city is involved with are huge, and they're growing. If you could provide a message to the community about recycling, what is it you'd want to tell the community about that?
Yeah, I think what I would say is that, your actions and decisions, they really do matter. I think a lot of people think that anything can kind of go in the trash and it will just be disposed of and taken care of, but really it begins at the can. And when you kind of have those cans and figuring out what goes in each of those three streams, those decisions matter kind of in the long run. I think garbage and solid waste is one of those things that people don't really think of a lot. You kind of throw it in the can and not a whole lot of thought kind of goes.
It's forgotten. You throw it in the garbage can and you don't worry about it anymore.
Exactly. But, kind of on the backside, there's a lot of stuff that is really kind of going on behind the scenes, so to speak. So I guess my message to residents is, of course, reduce, reuse, recycle. We've been hearing that message for years now at this point. But really just kind of doing your part and properly separating material is huge. Then, something I point out is if there's ever any questions on what to do with waste or how to properly dispose of one of these materials that you might not be too sure of, give me a call. That's what I'm here for. I really like to act as a liaison for the public and kind of help educate. That's one of my favorite parts of my job is teaching people like how to do the right thing. So if you ever have a question, give me a call at 707-428-7528.
Now, it sounds like, as we talk about all these critical partnerships, that our partnership with our residents is one of the most critical. Obviously.
Absolutely.
So what types of resources or tools do we have that are available to those residents to help them do their part?
Yeah, so again, our partnership with Republic Services is huge. Republic does a lot of the outreach and education on our behalf. We send out flyers and pamphlets in your mail, but we also have a ton of resources available on the City of Fairfield's website. I work a lot with our marketing and outreach division on trying to get social media posts out. So if you ever have a question, again, on any sort of material to dispose of, let me know. But yeah, a lot of those resources are available online, or again, giving me a call.
Wonderful. So our residents should stay informed, be engaged, make sure that they're putting the right product in the right can, getting it out there and doing their part.
Yep.
Great. We're going to take a commercial break, but we'll be back to talk with Corey right after this.
Hello, Fairfield seniors. Join us at the Adult Recreation Center for the popular and COVID-safe curbside coffee and crafts. Stay in your car as you drive up and meet and socialize with our staff. We'll hand you a take-home bag filled with a craft, coffee, snack, and brain-stimulating activities. This event is limited to the first 20 seniors, so hurry and register by calling 428-7421. We hope to see you at the ARC.
Welcome back to Talk Around Town. I'm chatting with Corey Beavers. He's a management analyst for our Public Works Department. Corey, we've talked a lot about recycling. I understand that organic waste will take on an entirely new role in 2022. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it would be helpful to kind of describe what organic waste is. When people hear that term, what's organic waste? And organic waste, again, is one of those terms that encompasses a lot of things, but at the end of the day, really isn't all that confusing. How I like to think of it is organic waste is anything that was once alive. So that includes anything such as like yard waste or green waste. Also includes things like food waste or like food soil papers. So the state of California has a new bill, Senate Bill 1383, that deals exclusively with organic waste. Senate Bill 1383 is a pretty comprehensive bill, but one of the main components is that it will require all businesses and residents to start subscribing to organic recycling services. So a lot of people are pretty much familiar with kind of the three-stream trash cans, right, where you have a gray cart, you have a blue cart, and you have a green cart. a lot of residents right now are definitely sticking their yard waste, their green waste, their yard trimmings, things like that into the green cart. What will Senate Bill 1383 will require is that food waste starts going into that green cart as well. So this is a program that we've had available to our residents for a couple of years now, but we're really, really trying to push that message now and teach residents and businesses to start putting food waste inside of the green cart. So food waste right now represents about 17 to 18% of the total amount of landfill waste in the state of California.
wow.
So it's a significant amount of material that we're talking about. And what happens is when organic waste, like food waste and yard waste again, is landfilled, it decomposes and produces greenhouse gases.
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of us are kind of familiar with the greenhouse gas effect, where these atmospheric gases will go up into the atmosphere, and what it does is it leads to global climate change. So Senate Bill 1383 strives to make some improvements in that area. So instead of having that material landfilled, it is redirecting businesses such as Republic Services to take that material to organic recycling facilities. So one of these facilities that will be taking this organic waste to is going to be the Napa composting facility. So instead of that material being landfilled, it goes through a recycling or transformation process, and that waste is transformed into usable compost. So it's a pretty cool process all in all. Compost can be used in a wide array of products. It can be used for soil stabilization. It can be used to improve just soil amendments as a whole. It can be used in your own garden. So, but again, like the big goal is really to help kind of reduce the climate effects.
Okay. So you've talked about pushing that message out. What kind of programs or what is the city doing to educate the public about the importance of SB 1383? Is it, and educating them about how to be compliant with this? What are we doing to make sure that they know?
Yeah, so we are launching a Fairfield Goes Green campaign. You might have seen a couple things around town. We're also doing direct pamphlets and mailers. So those have been sent out to all businesses and residents. But we're also pushing a larger social media campaign on the City of Fairfield social media pages and also on our city webpage. We're also going to be holding some town hall meetings in the future. We're also going to be having meetings with some of our chambers of commerce and some of our other businesses who have reached out to me directly. So we're really trying to push this word. In the future, I'm hoping to try to get some radio productions going.
Good.
So we spoke about our community partnerships.
Yeah.
Again, KUIC is one of my huge community partnerships. I use them for a lot of our outreach, not related just only to organic recycling, but our bottles and cans grants and our used recycling grants. So again, if any residents have any questions on how to properly dispose of any of those materials, give me a call.
We're also using Channel 26 here in this
Channel
program to get the
26
word
here,
out.
right?
So you bet.
Yeah, so no, we are really trying to get that word out about organic recycling through a variety of mediums so people are aware of how to do the right thing.
Now talk to me finally about the food recovery program. What's this all about?
Yeah, so the food recovery program is another component of Senate Bill 1383. So we talked about how we don't want food to go in the landfill, but on the flip side of that is, what do we do with some of this food that's currently being thrown away? A lot of that food waste that is currently being thrown away is usable, edible food. So what the Edible Food Recovery Program is entailed to do is it tries to take that usable food and get it to the hands of those who need it most.
Okay.
So
are we talking about like grocery stores and restaurants more than anything else, or does this include private residences as well, or where's the focus on this?
yeah, so the focus right now is on large-scale grocery stores. So you can think of businesses that already have kind of a distribution center maybe set up
Right.
at this point. So the idea is to kind of start working with some of these larger producing food companies and grocery stores and trying to help kind of redirect some of that food waste into the hands who need it most.
So as they're trying to restock their shelves and move out the older stuff to make room for the newer stuff, a lot of that older stuff, it hasn't expired, it's still good food. Rather than throwing it away, we want to get it into the hands of those who need it.
Absolutely. So, that's working with community partnerships again, like the food bank, of trying to make sure that they are able to receive that food and get it to the hands who need it most. Feeding America, I think, estimated that there's about 60,000 food insecure people within Solano County alone. So, unfortunately, that's a fairly significant number. And I like to think that the Edible Food Recovery Program will help kind of those people in need and get them healthy, nutritious meals.
Wonderful. Corey, thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank
You're
you.
obviously very passionate about this. You're very involved with it. And you're making a difference here in the city of Fairfield. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
If you would like to know more about the city's recycling services and resources, please visit fairfield.ca.gov/recycling. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time on Talk Around Town.